Well, hi, everybody. I'd like to introduce a special edition of DPAA Short Connects today. Today, we've got Ian Dallimore, who is Vice President of Digital Growth and GM of Programmatic at Lamar Advertising, a great DPAA member. And Ian is certainly one of the leaders in the out-of-home industry. He's smart, he's sharp, he's shown great leadership skills, as has Lamar through this period. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. Also demonstrating some terrific leadership in the industry and throughout his business and throughout much of the country. And as I understand, outside the U.S. as well, we have Todd Graves. And Todd is CEO, founder, and Todd is also head fry cook at Raising Cane's, some of the best chicken fingers around. And I am a head fry of the household. I'm Barry Frey, and we got the head fry cook here. So let's fry it up and get into it. Todd, thank you for joining us today. Where are you located now, Todd?
We're in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, coming to you from our Baton Rouge Restaurant Support Office in downtown Baton Rouge. I'm looking out the Mississippi River right now with tugboats going.
Oh man, it's beautiful down there. I spent a lot of time. It's a great area. Todd, tell us, look, I've noticed some of your great leadership. You really have, as I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong, but you've really been able to hold on to your teams. You've been able to kind of learn about social distancing, educating your workforce about how to operate in this kind of strange new era. Can you tell us how you've been managing through that?
Yeah, I started watching this when it really started in China, and who I really followed was Starbucks. Starbucks did a really good job of closing down their units, which scared the heck out of me. You know what I mean? When you're literally stopping, we're restaurant business makes small margins on large volumes, and you obviously need customers, keep cash going. But we followed it, and so we got prepared for it in the U.S. And the first things we did was draw down our credit line, talk to our lenders, and that's what it's there for. It's there for growth. It's also there for emergencies. And so we knew we needed to have cash. We knew our sales were going to go down. We knew there was, we started hearing rumors about sheltering, and then also not being able to go into your restaurants. And so we're 30% dining business and takeout. So when we knew right away we were going to go down 30% of sales, which means we're basically burning a lot of cash. And so what I did was I said, what's my role as a leader in this? And my role as a leader is to keep my crew and customers safe. It's also to keep my crew employed. And so, like you said, we had to learn things overnight. Social distancing, block scheduling. We started immediately. You have 2 different blocks of schedule, so if someone got COVID, they didn't infect all of our crew, so we didn't have to shut down our entire restaurant for 2 weeks. Uber sanitization, all these things we had to redo, and my crew, immediately learned it, excelled at it. And then we also knew too, as I told everybody, I said, my crew is like my family. I started this business right out of college. It's all done my whole adult lifetime. So my crew is like family. And I said, hey, look, I'm going to start this mantra. No crew left behind. None of us are going to lose our jobs. Whoever we want to go into this business with, we're going to come out with. And with that, we had to get better at what we did. So we actually started 30% down, because without that dine-in and that takeout business, now we're built up. We're actually up in sales because we've gotten that much better and quicker at our drive-throughs.
Congratulations. Now, noticing where you're from, how do you spell crew?
C-R-E-W. Now, so I never use the K-R-E-W-E, but actually Louisiana crew sometimes refers to someone as the crew of Canes.
Okay, I'm a big fan of your state, so I love all the Les de Bon Ton Brûlé and everything else down there. It sounds like some terrific leadership, embracing early and quick and doing the right thing. I'm sure that has kept your teams pretty pumped up. Anything else to keep morale going during this time, which I'm sure is somewhat challenging?
Yeah, our team restaurant people are very resilient, very tough people. So my crew showed up. Like the next day when COVID happened, we all went to work. We all showed up. I was working here and working at my home office, and also going to do commercials and do that's it. That's all we did. And all my crew showed up at the restaurants. We're very hands-on. We go to everybody's restaurants and go. We had to stop doing that because if potentially someone had COVID, you can't spread it to your other restaurants. But the main thing was like, look, let's keep everybody's job, when they knew that was motivating. Second thing, us being essential business. How cool is that? Literally the White House said, restaurants are an essential business. So I got on videos talking to crew. I'm like, look, I feel like a great American right now. Like, we are essential. We do need to feed, feed the American citizens, but we have to do it safe. And so it was just a greater calling for all of us, and so that was motivating enough just to really keep spirits up.
Good for you. You talk about videos. I know Lamar and Ian has spoken about during this period, there's been a great amount of training videos going out to the teams all over, where it has really helped enable people to once again deal with this peculiar time we're in. Has that been motivating for folks at Lamar, Ian?
Yeah, well, I first want to say this is probably the first time you've ever had two Baton Rouge guys on your DPAA Connect, so we'll hot air five to each other.
Great, I'm honored.
Yeah. But it's the same concept. Leadership is key during this, and we showed that. So for us to kind of also be an essential business and understand that our digitals maybe not making revenue during this unfortunate time, but all of a sudden it begins to become the message. And in the beginning, the message was, hey, let's make sure that we're staying safe. A lot of partnerships with the CDC and other companies. And then now as we come out of this, it's been fun to watch the messages become more about, hey, everything's fine. We're going to be better coming out of this. We're going to do great things. And, I applaud Todd and his team. One of the campaigns they're running right now with us, utilizing our digital, is as they donate canes to the different local hospitals, there's amazing pictures, and we've all seen them, of nurses and doctors holding food. And it's so cool to see the nurses and doctors around the country that are holding, my favorite, the Caniac, and we're taking that image and then putting it on large format digital within that market. And it really helps show, solidarity, support, and unity. And it's not about making money at this time. It's about being good Americans, as Todd said. So as far as, videos go and training, we have 1,100 AEs across the US, and that becomes daunting when you start to talk about, how do I motivate someone that their sole job is to sell advertising, when no one on the planet right now wants anything to do with advertising other than a handful of categories. So one of the things I love about Lamar, and it's also a lot of what Raising Canes is about as well, from what I know, is it's about people, and we're so locally centric that these are reps that deal with small companies, that they go to church with them, their kids play baseball with each other, some of them interact with each other outside of business. So for us, the training videos first started with, how to be a great human and a person during this. And we shared a lot of great case studies. And then as we come out of this, we start to talk about, how do you conversate with someone that may be struggling? Maybe they're not an essential business. So how do we have sales conversations and not try to pitch them, but be more supportive? And I really have to say, it's been a cool reset for our company and for our country, for that matter, to where we start to relook at what's important in life. And for us, it's about friendships, it's about partnerships first. And unfortunately, we didn't have to fake that, because that's how, from the top up, from Sean Riley down to the guys at Billpost, we love what we do and we love working for Lamar. So
that's great to hear. Great leadership all the way around. And I'd like to talk to Todd about advertising, but if we could take a step back for a moment, Todd, great successful business. You basically launched it outside LSU from the ground up, literally. Can you give us a little bit of a background of the unique selling proposition of your business, where Raising Canes is in terms of locations, and what some of the growth plans may be?
Oh yeah, well, so I'll take you way back. So this was a college business planning class. I actually got the worst grade in the class at LSU, which is classic. Now, it wasn't a failing grade like the rumor started, they said later, and then the teacher went and created a competing brand. No, that's true. It was just a B-. But professor was like, where quick service food was going then, it was a lot of variety. That was the thing. And they were right. I'm like, I think you do one thing, do better than anybody else, and you focus on that and you'll be successful. And we got a real solid product. It's just our quality chicken finger meals. And that's all we do. And it's the same thing we've done since 1997, but we deliver it with great quality, but also incredible speed, because we focus on that chicken finger meal. Been very fortunate building great teams over time. We started off that one restaurant that I reconstructed myself, and now we have over 500 restaurants, and we're in 28 of the states, and we've got plans to grow into the rest of them by the grace of God. We'll continue to do well, and we're also in the Middle East to do well there, and we're looking to go into Asia in the future. and doing that. We've been real fortunate. We're about $1.5 billion in sales now. We just use the same principles, the same things we've done all along. So I'll take it back to advertising. You know, when I got into business, I knew how I was a fry cook, cashier. You know, I didn't ever think about advertising. But when we started building our brand, and what's really cool was this Lamar was here locally in Baton Rouge, right? And this is before Sean Riley and I are really good friends, real close friends. But this is before I knew Sean. But you had this local great company is willing to help you and talk about it, right? And I saw results when you put up on your billboard. And so we're not so much programmatic. We go specifically because quick service restaurants, it's the directionals are real important, right? And what I learned real quickly was through billboards and through radio, I couldn't afford TV yet, was for cost per point, I could say, hey, this is what my food looks like, and here's where my location is. And the radio could hear it. That combination blew my sales away. Literally, we went up like 30% in sales overnight. And Ian, you remember this was happening years ago, and literally we saw those results. And then then the third layer was then adding TV on top of that later. So you had all that combination. It makes a tremendous amount of that in our sales. Now, what I'm excited about the digital platform is when you look at someone that loves day part sales, you know, and that can do this, like anything the out of home can do for a business like mine is get them all digital as quickly as you can, because we can say on the way to work, I can put up something funny up on that board that says, hey, when you're at the office, tell everybody to come meet Canes for loan. I think going home. On the way home, hey mom, hey dad, pick up food and do this. Or on a hot day, it's lemonade. We've done this stuff with Lamar and put up just lemonade at certain times of day. My lemonade sales go up because it's reminding him. Tea, all those things are great. And then the community aspect's huge because we're always trying to do good things. We should. But we can actually put it up on those digital boards, right? Which before we couldn't do a static board to put that up. It's been fun. It's been fun doing this stuff at Lamar. And so advertising learned, but it's been those same principles with Canes as we've gone along. And they've always, I don't know, we're just getting better at it. And with the industry's getting better with the digital side, I think it's just getting better and better.
Yeah, and I had to applaud, you know, what Canes does is you could live in a market and not even understand what's happening in the market, but you can look at Canes advertise and you're like, oh, wow, they're partnered with Episcopal High School and they're promoting their graduates of 2020. And it literally has nothing to do with Raising Canes other than the logo. And the day parting aspect and the creative flexibility, you know, I would say that Raising Canes was the hyperlocal before it was kind of the cool trendy word to talk about. Todd was well ahead of his time as it relates to digital advertising. And a lot of people have tried to copy what he's done in the ad space, quick service restaurant, and it just hasn't done it as powerful as they have, because the local mentality is really what drives it. And I think, you know, Barry, you and I have discussed it coming out of COVID. However hyper-local you can be with your message from a national brand, that's who's going to win out in this, because people want to support local now more than ever.
Oh, right. And the digital enables you to be more flexible and kind of have more optionality. And you're speaking our language, because we've been pushing digital out of home for many years now. And to hear you talk about day parting, which of course is at its genesis a broadcast term, has been a lot of the success of digital out of home, because now we are seeing budgets from television, from radio, from other media and digital move to this medium. You've been through Corona now, and you're evidently coming out of it well. I think you possibly went through Katrina as well. And how have you found your advertising has been affected, Todd? Over both situations, have you paused it? Have you altered it in addition to changing some of the messaging that is inherent?
Yeah, great question. But for us I haven't halted anything on my advertising front. And the reason why is that I'm like, you have to let your customers know you're open. And so when this happened, you know, and when I looked, I guess I just studied it more than the average person, because being concerned and knowing how to lead my company and going from China. And so from things like the beginning, so let's say I used digital in the beginning, we took pictures immediately with crew members wearing masks, crew members with gloves, handing as far as I can out the drive-through window, so those things went drive-throughs open. Because when and it is one of the ways. I also did my social media. Hey, we're an essential business. You can come to us, because when people were told, hey, you have to stay home, sheltering at home, but then I hear restaurants are open, people just thought I could go to the grocery store and come back. We had to tell them. And then they had to see that reinforced image of that smiling crew member holding the mask, but this time he's got a mask on and holding that out. Using that just timely types of response, I think really, really affected our sales where we are today because it got in people's heads early. I can go to Cane's, the drive-thru is a good format to do it. Their people are using proper sanitization. It's a safe place for me to get food. And the timeliness goes. And so updating messages, and we'll continue to do that. Look, I don't think masks are here to stay in restaurants, if they are, but if they're not, I can go out and take pictures of our crew that day. The next day I can have those pictures up, what's going on. We're using right now, instead of masks, we're using the net gaiters, right? So we start off mask, but we can switch to our net gaiters immediately. So just the timeliness of it is very, very important, and keep getting the message out. And so that's what advertising does, right? It tells what's going on in your brand story, what's going on in a timely basis, and affects sales big time.
Well, very smart. History has shown that those that keep up advertising during challenging times end up leading their markets after it's over. And it sounds like you've been doing it. So kudos to you. And by the way, the opposite, those that didn't invest found it was a real tough climb to get back on when markets opened up. So,
you know what? That's interesting because I didn't know that study or knew that, but it's paid off for us. Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, you'll see it. It's been proven time over time, whether it's been financial, economic, advertising, any kind of uncertainty or financial downturn. It's been textbook proven that. And I want you to give me a call when it proves out, because you're headed for even greater success. Well, we're seeing a great collaboration here between Cane's and Lamar, and between Ian and Todd. Are there other cool campaigns that you guys have done in addition or previously to these?
Yeah, I'm a bit biased. Sometimes I'll swing through the drive-thru right around the corner here and grab a gallon of lemonade because it's my favorite thing on earth. But what I love about the specific campaign is Lemonade Day. And I'll let Todd talk deeper on it, but Lemonade Day, there's a microsite that's set up that teaches kids, how to sign up, how to create their own lemonade stand. And it's a really cool way of teaching kids how to be entrepreneurs. And at the end of it, you can put in your results and how you sold lemonade. I know my triplets have been participating in it for the last 4 years, but it could easily have just died there as just a microsite, as just, hey, that's a really cool campaign. Go to this microsite. But the ability to then take photos that people are uploading into the social media of all these cool lemonade stands, and then dynamically dropping them onto our digital and showcasing that. I mean, the coolest thing for a little kid is to start their own business. Every day I go home, my kids have started some new business in the neighborhood. But to be able to see your business and actually get information from an actual company, and then to see yourself on a large format digital at 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, I think it instills the entrepreneurial spirit. And, I'll let Todd kind of talk about it a little bit more, but that's by far my favorite campaign that we do with Cane's.
Oh, I love it. And just like you said, is when kids see their friends up there, that they make someone to do the board, and I'm signing up for Lemonade Day next year, and you get to do this stuff. It's just really cool. You can do this stuff right now, right? And you literally do that. Then it creates so much more excitement than we used to be able to do before. So those things are great. The Lemonade Day one I love is obviously that's how I got my start. Lemonade stand for an entrepreneur. I have to say my favorite with Lamar is that they surprised me with this. So I was the king, to do the king of Mardi Gras balls, right? And so it's a big deal down here. And so this is the Washington, D.C. Mardi Gras ball, and I unveiled the new Raising Cane puppy, Raising Cane the Third. So we started, I named my business, those of you who don't know, I named my business after my yellow lab, Raising Cane. And so he passed away, and then I had the second, and then this is a third, but I unveiled the puppy there, the deal. They took the picture, Lamar took the picture, then blasted all over the billboards, all the digital billboards, introducing Cane, which is a really good way of doing it. It was actually Sean Riley's daughter was the queen of the ball that year. Yes. And so it's just an iconic picture. But I had no idea. And all of a sudden I'm driving to work and I look up on the interstate, 100,000 cars, and there's that picture of my puppy sitting up there like that. It was that was classic. Like, being a hometown boy, like I love Coach O, right? And the Tigers, right? But you can literally put up awesome game, you come into Cane's, you can show the coach, you can do that stuff and so that's what I like. It's just dynamic, and the dynamic keeps people engaged, and people riding down the road, you want to see different things that go up. The static boards are still powerful as heck too. We did a great with Lamar. It's me and Coach O, like our hands like that with the crew, and then they won. That's because it's prideful, right? Put that up on the interstate, people care about it. But then you also have that, when you have that out-of-home digital, when you got that going, it can change every week. You can, hey, tough loss, we'll get them next week. That stuff personalizes it, and when it's genuine, it creates long-term loyalty with your brand because they know you care,
Well, I got to tell you a little personal experience. When my daughter got married in Audubon Park there, we had an amazing time seeing her engagement picture up all over New Orleans. And like you said, incredibly powerful. It's really great stuff. Todd, you've done some programmatic. You've kind of touched upon it. And Ian is the global king of programmatic. Where do you kind of see that going in out of home, either of you or both of you?
Ian, you kick it off. You're the master.
Yeah. So, and I appreciate those high praises. I think there's a place and time for programmatic. I think that for us, we continue to strive on our direct business, local being 80% of our revenue, 20% national. Where we see success is when campaigns are using static, maybe they're directional in Raising Cane's case, but there may be the ability to be able to trigger in and say, hey, in any given market, when the temperatures rise above 85 degrees, then we want to have a lemonade ad that's preset and ready to go. Or talking about the hot, fresh and ready Raising Cane's fingers. So when the temperatures are below, it's really about how do you talk to the consumer at the right place, right time on their journey across an omni-channel campaign. And what I mean by that is use more data, and whether it's a campaign triggered by weather, or if a LSU or another university scores X amount of points, rather than have the long-term contract where I have to quickly have someone up if this occurs. I think that's really where the power of programmatic comes into place for a QSR and like a Raising Cane's. It's an interesting time. I think we're still trying to find our space in the out-of-home space, but it's definitely a powerful way of buying, but in no way should it ever replace that I want these specific locations. We look at that as two completely different media buys, and should be used that way.
Yeah, and so for us as well, so programmatic, let's say if I can do a billboard blitz on all these digital boards, and let's just say Baton Rouge, Lemonade Day works outstanding because you get that many more people that saw it. It's a community-wide thing. I generally pick my boards for directionals because it really affects QSR brains that go off this way, but you can get a great value on general messaging, doing programmatic blitzing boards, and I like that big presence and do it. So for us, we do a Cane's challenge. There's another way that we do that Ian's talking about, but we'll do it like, let's say LSU basketball's playing and they're going down the courts, basketball. If they score over 70 points, you get a buy one, get one in celebration after the game and the next day. But if you have that down, like you said, Ian, it can start, right when that game time's posted, you can do it. Weather affects our business big time. And so when you have rain, just like rain going, people stop going to the drive-thru. But if they saw that Cane's and you saw underneath the overhang, and you're like, you're not actually going to get wet, coming through our drive-thrus. It's interesting to me. People stop going through drive-thru, it really goes down because you stay completely dry. But you saw that, and you saw someone handing it out, you would go, hey, I'm still going to pick up food tonight. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see what we're going to do with the sophistication of the technology comes through in the future, what we can do for our business.
Todd, how would you characterize out of home in maybe just a few sentences in terms of what it means for your business and going forward as part of the omni-channel mix?
What out of home does for us is it gives you top of mind, immediate imagery in your brain, right? So when you see an out of home, a big vision, I'm looking up because I see it all the time. I got so many boards I do, but that delicious food with the steam coming off the deal, you're immediately hungry, right? So if you're driving to work, that out of home that goes is, hey, at lunch, because people sit around lunch every day, the same question in our office, what do y'all want for lunch today? I want Cane's. Oh yeah, then everybody goes on to Cane's. You're driving home, you see the out of home board, that smiling Cane's crew member, it's been a long day, but you're showing the cards go through, you're like, hey, I'm gonna get Cane's for the kids tonight. I'm coming home doing it. Out of home's just very, very powerful for a business like ours that has delicious food images and has smiling crew member faces.
That's great. Well done. You're making me very hungry. Would you have any advice for media sellers these days coming out of Corona and possibly out of home in particular, Todd?
Yeah, I would give media sellers advice saying advertising and letting your customer knows what's up during changing times is very, very powerful, and it has really made a difference in our sales. Look, take it from me, we were down 30%. We're going to let people know we're open, we're an essential business, we're going to serve you safe food, we're going to serve it through our drive-through format, and you're going to be served by a happy crew member. And you can show it with the gloves, with a net gaiter around your thing. You can see it's going to be safe, and then you're going to do it. And when it got in people's heads, people came, and we constantly remind them, drive through open on. I mean, look when I was driving to the office here, you see Raising Cane's large, you see that food, you see drive-throughs open. That you need to advertise during these times, and you got to show your customers constant communication. When things change, you go. So for right now, all these restaurants are reemerging with dine-in. Show your dine-in, show your crew doing, using the right tactics. CDC, we're open again. Welcome back. We're here to serve you. Things like that. And when as it goes, 25%, we're 50% occupancy. Now we're 75. Now we're back to completely normal. Whatever it is. I would say that for the sellers and for the purveyors, the entrepreneurs out there, business owners, that it's made a big difference in our sales.
Excellent to hear. And Ian, your guidance to agencies and brands and retail establishments?
Yeah, I think the one thing that coming out of this, what Out of Home has figured out is the data. I feel like if you want to be true to your media mix, make sure that you're solely focused not just on data, but kind of just having your pulse on things. For example, we're going to see a lot less people jumping on airplanes and taking family vacations overseas. You're going to see more people that are exposed to Out of Home because they're going to be taking the quick 4, 6, and 8 hour trips. And in the past, our medium hasn't seen that type of summer trips. Sean Riley talked about it a good bit on the earnings call as well. This is the year and the summer of those trips. And, if you're talking about a QSR, or you're talking about a brand when you're stocking up, when you're headed to the beach, there's no more powerful medium than Out of Home for that recall and that brand awareness right before you're pulling off to that exit or pulling off and determining, hey, where are we going to grab dinner? And, it's imperative that you look beyond just the top 5 DMA and you begin to look where and what cities and what markets are beginning to open up, what phases are they in? And let's start honing in our advertising messages on those areas. And it may mean we have to transition budgets from New York, LA, and Chicago and have them shift over to, a Dallas, a Kansas City, and a Baton Rouge. So it's a powerful medium, and the flexibility is there to be used.
I kind of like to take my Barry Frey 3 takeaways of what I'm hearing here. So one, I think that is very important. Great quality and incredible speed. And I think Cane's has done that, not only with your product, but it sounds like with your marketing and advertising and business, you work with incredible speed to train your teams, to advertise, to get the right messaging out. So great quality, incredible speed with the product as well as the business aspect, in addition to the consumer product. What I'm also hearing is study what needs to get done. I mean, you really took a look early on, Todd, in China, and about masks and about separation, and you enacted a lot of that from studying that early on. And then what we're hearing basically from both Ian and Todd is advertise during these challenging times. You may need to change your advertising, you may need to change your method, but as history has proven, you're doing the right thing by advertising, and look at the success of your business at Cane's. So I would say those are the 3 kind of Barry takeaways. And before we finish this up, Ian, during this time, what's kind of inspiring you and the Dallimore lemonade stands?
Yeah, so normally, I spend a good bit of my time flying, and I've enjoyed the family bike rides. I've enjoyed the multiple trips to the beach. But I do have to say, I signed up for a masterclass, and I've learned from an FBI negotiation agent, an astronaut, and Bob Iger, which is a great book that I just started reading. The Ride of a Lifetime, which is phenomenal. So for me, it's become more personalized, and getting to know people and being a better dad, being a better friend, and being a better partner for those that we interact with. So hopefully everyone else takes that away too, that understand what's important in life.
That's great. Thank you. And Todd, what's inspiring you during these times?
Same thing after Hurricane Katrina, which regionally was our COVID, and some would argue even worse. But it was amazing to me that in times of crisis, you see leaders emerge out of all aspects of your business, and then teams are formed and people do great things. And it's been really, really inspiring to me that my crew never wavered. They came to work the next day when it went, and we all worked hard. We had a really strong mission that no crew left behind. And just watching their leadership, watching their hard work, things like this, like they were empathetic. We always have a friendly crew, but in the drive-thrus, they became even more friendly. And the reason why they told me is because 1 in 3 people might have lost their job. Like, you don't know who you're talking to, what's going on. So they're even more friendly. Hey, and also being faster. We actually got between 30 seconds and a minute faster in all of our locations. And so staying entrepreneurial, we didn't have people parking in our lot, so we could turn it into 3-car stack drive-throughs, things like that. So I was just blown away by that. Some of the stuff like Ian's saying too is that, without having dinners to go to and some of like the charity events, all this stuff that keeps your life, constantly busy, we enjoyed as a family's cooking. You know what I mean? That's what I look forward to every day. We're going to cook dinner together and, spending that time. And I think, I agree with you, Ian, I think people are going to come out and they're going to stop being so busy. We're still going to keep working hard, doing the things we're doing, but maybe we're not doing a lot of this other stuff. Maybe we're just spending time together, enjoying each other's company and not having as many distractions in life. So this is the first time in humankind the world's come to a screeching halt. So hopefully we can come back all stronger as a people.
Well, that's great. I've heard today, and I think our audience has, about some terrific leadership. Churchill during the war talked about leadership, and he said it's not about pushing people, but it's about understanding where they need to go and enabling them to get there. And what I've seen today at Canes, and what I've seen from Ian and from Sean Riley and all of Lamar, has been great leadership. And Todd Graves, it's been a pleasure to have you demonstrate the leadership that you've enabled from day one outside of LSU, through Katrina, through today. That is not only doing good for your business and your employees, but for reaching out to your community and doing the right thing there. So I applaud both of you for your leadership, and thank you for joining us today for DPW Short.